from special centers, orthocenter, circumcenter and incenter to the vertices as well as to the sides. And the first one 41A, here orthocenter. See, as we know that orthocenter is the point of concurrency of the altitudes. See, look here, AD is one altitude, BE is other altitude, CF is another altitude and H is their point of concurrency. We call it as orthocenter. And this orthocenter to the vertex A, the distance is HA, and this orthocenter to the vertex B, distance is HB, the length of this HB and the length of this distance HC. And those three distances from orthocenter to the vertices are given by the rules. To the vertex A it is 2r cos A, to the vertex B it is 2r cos B, and to the vertex C it is 2r cos C. Whereas the distances of orthocenter to the sides, orthocenter is H and the side is BC, this distance from orthocenter to the side BC is HD, which is 2r cos B cos C. And similarly from orthocenter to the side CA, which is HE, and it is 2r cos C cos A. See, orthocenter to the side CA, since to the side CA, here the angles should be C and A. And similarly HF is simply nothing but 2r cos A cos B. Just observe it, try to memorize this, the distances from orthocenter to the vertices as well as to the sides. Okay, and in B I will observe the distances from circumcenter to the vertices and circumcenter to the sides. And in C, incenter to the vertices and incenter to the sides. And in the further points we need to solve some simple problems related to these formulas and these distances. Okay, and that's for today's class. Just have a look, go for a screenshot. And now 41B. Here we need to discuss about circumcenter and its distances from to the vertices and to the sides. Circumcenter, as I mentioned you repeatedly many times, okay, circumcenter is the point of concurrency of the perpendicular bisectors. Perpendicular bisector means what? Perpendicular bisector means a line which passes through the midpoint of the side and perpendicular to it. So this is a perpendicular bisector. And since for the side CA, this is the midpoint, so through this midpoint you need to draw a perpendicular. This is a perpendicular bisector. And this is the midpoint of AB. Through this midpoint of AB we need to draw a perpendicular, and it is the perpendicular bisector of AB. And these three perpendicular bisectors will meet at a point, and that point is termed as circumcenter, denoted by the letter S. And as I mentioned you in previous cases, that circumcenter is equidistant from the vertices. Okay, so if this is the circumcenter, if you join SA, SB, SC, all these distances are equal. And since all these distances are equal, with that equal distance and with that S as the center, if you draw a circle, that circle for sure passes through the vertices of a triangle, and we call the triangle as circumcircle. And at the end, the distance from S to A and S to B and S to C is simply nothing but what? It is equals to the circumradius. So distance from circumcenter to the three vertices is simply R, and that R is the circumradius, and that is very good. Okay, I have here it is circumcenter, and what you say about the distance from this circumcenter to the sides? What you say about this length? Okay, here I am not calculating that length. Okay, here just I am calculating circumcenter to the vertex, and now my idea is to calculate this length. Okay, what you say about the distance from circumcenter to the side BC, and what you say about the distance from circumcenter to the side CA, and what you say about the distance from circumcenter to the side AB. Okay, SP, SQ, SR. The distance from circumcenter to the side BC is simply R cos A, and to the side CA is R cos B, and to the side AB, which is R cos C. Okay, see here again R, here again R. Okay, you may get some confusion. Okay, leave it, don't take that PQR, you just take them as DEF. Okay, no problem. SD, okay, SE and then SF. Here those DEF, SD is the distance from circumcenter to the side, SE is the distance from circumcenter to the side CA, and SF is the distance from circumcenter to the side AB. So at the end you need to memorize that the distances from circumcenter to the vertices is always equal and it is r, and the distance from circumcenter to the sides and it is r cos a, r cos b, r cos c. Okay, that's what you need to memorize. This is something about the distance from circumcenter to the vertices and circumcenter to the sides. And in the next point we need to discuss, we need to observe the distances from incenter to the vertices and incenter to the sides. Okay, right. So 41C, here we need to discuss the distances from incenter to the sides and incenter to vertices. And before that, what is incenter? Incenter is the point of concurrency of the angular bisectors, as we discussed several times in our discussion. So first of all, you just draw a line which bisects an angle at A, and this is known as angular bisector of angle A. And in the same way, there is angular bisector for B, and there is angular bisector for C also. Okay, these two angles are equal. You may say some alpha, alpha like that. And the point of concurrency of these three angular bisectors will meet at a point, and that point of concurrency is the incenter. And just like circumcenter, incenter is also special in a triangle, and the distance from incenter to the sides, this side BC, as well as distance from incenter to this side, as well as distance from incenter to the side, all these distances are equal. Okay, distance from incenter to the sides, if you say it as ID, IE, IF, all these are equal, and they are equals to in radius small r. Okay, and since they are equal, if you sketch a circle with that as radius, that circle for sure touches all the sides of the triangle internally. Okay, whereas for circumcenter, there is circumcircle which passes through the vertices, and for the incenter, there is incircle which touches all the sides. So incenter to the sides, the distance is equals to smaller, whereas incenter to the vertices A, B, C, what you say about the distance from incenter to the vertex A, vertex B and vertex C, and that distance is derived as r cosecant A by 2, and distance from incenter to vertex B is r cosecant B by 2, and incenter to the vertex C is r cosecant C by 2. Just have a look. The distances from incenter to the vertices as r cosecant A by 2, r cosecant B by 2 and r cosecant C by 2. Okay, just have a look, right? And in the next point 41D, we need to discuss about excenters. There are excenters like I1, I2, I3. Already you know the definitions of excenters, and we need to observe the distances from excenters to the sides as well as the distances from excenters to the vertices again. Okay, just have a look. In 41D, we need to discuss the distances from excenter to the sides as well as to the vertices. Okay, see, we know the excenters as I1, I2, I3. Distance from excenter to the sides, excenters are I1, I2, I3, and that I1 to the sides, see, the distance from excenter I1 to all the three sides are same, because there is an X circle. For that X circle, this excenter is the center and its radius is R1, which is the distance from excenter to the sides. Okay, there are three sides for a triangle, and the distance from this excenter I1 to all the three sides is same, which is R1. Distance from excenter to all the three sides is same, and it is R2. From excenter to all the three sides is also same, and that which is R3. Okay, and whereas coming to the distances from excenter to the vertices, okay, I1 is the excenter, and distance from that excenter to the vertices, I1A, I1B, I1C, as given as R1 cosec A by 2, R1 cosec B by 2, R1 cosec C by 2. In the same way, if you write distances from excenter I2 to the vertices, I2A is simply R2 cosec A by 2. Similarly, we can write I2B and I2C. And if you write the distance from excenter 3 to vertex B, which is simply R3 cosec B by 2. Okay. So at the end, using this 41st point, it is easy for us to identify the distances from orthocenter, incenter, circumcenter and excenters to all the three vertices and to all the three sides of the triangle. So if we have a triangle, there are many components related to the triangles. Okay, So 3 sides, 3 vertices, 3 angles, medians, medians, altitudes, perpendicular bisectors, angular bisectors, and then circumcenters, incenters, excenters as well as centroid. Okay. So ultimately we need to observe the distances from any 2 points of the triangle. Okay, and this is some ideas related to the distances from the special centers to the vertices and to the sides. You need to memorize all these things, and using these we can solve some problems. Just have a look. (42a). If line joining orthocenter and circumcenter is parallel to side BC in a triangle ABC, everything is in a triangle ABC. Okay, we need to analyze the situation. We know that somewhere there is orthocenter and somewhere there is circumcenter. If the line joining those two is parallel to the side BC, then what will happen? Just think about it. This is a triangle ABC, if you say, and in this triangle ABC, we know orthocenter is the point of concurrency of altitudes and circumcenter is the point of concurrency of the perpendicular bisectors. So if this is the midpoint of side, so this is the perpendicular bisector, and on this perpendicular bisector somewhere there is our circumcenter, and altitude is the line passing through a perpendicular to the opposite side, and on this altitude somewhere there is orthocenter. Orthocenter lies on altitude, circumcenter lies on perpendicular bisector. This is the perpendicular bisector and S is the circumcenter. This is the altitude, and somewhere there is altitude circumcenter orthocenter. Somewhere there is orthocenter on this altitude. But as per the problem, the line joining orthocenter and circumcenter is parallel. So we need to take orthocenter here itself, because if you join this orthocenter and circumcenter, and those two are parallel as per they mentioned. Usually it won't happen. Okay, sometimes it happens in special triangles, only it happens. The line joining those two are equal, and usually maybe the orthocenter is somewhere here, so the line joining orthocenter and circumcenter may not parallel to the side BC. Okay, right. So if the line joining orthocenter and circumcenter is parallel to the side BC, it looks like this. Then you just observe it. Then the distance from this orthocenter to the side BC as well as the distance from circumcenter to the side BC, both are same. From the diagram, okay, from figure, it is clear that distances from orthocenter and circumcenter to side BC are same. The distances from orthocenter to the circumcenter and circumcenter, this distance and this distance are same. So what you say about the distance from orthocenter to side BC? Okay, just revise your task. The distance from orthocenter to the side BC, just as I mentioned you need to take it like HD. Okay, and the distance from circumcenter to the side, you just take it as SD. Okay, and this HD is simply nothing but, as I mentioned 2R cos B cos C, and that is equals to SD. SD is the distance from circumcenter to the side, and which is R cos A. At the end we have that 2R cos B cos C is equals to R cos A. From there this R gets cancelled, and in the next step you have that what I need to write, just take it, cos A divided by cos B cos C is equals to 2. Okay, sometimes the problems may ask you, if the line joining orthocenter and circumcenter is parallel to the side BC, everything is symmetrical in this, okay, side BC, so cos A by cos B cos C is equals to 2. If it is parallel to side CA, if it is CA, then cos B by cos C cos A is equals to 2. Like that you need to memorize. So at the end what I have? Cos A by cos B cos C is equals to 2. Further there is a chance to simplify. So I will simplify it, just have a look. So this implies cos A is simply nothing but cos of 180 minus of B plus C, and the whole thing is divided by cos B cos C, okay, is equals to 2. Is it right? Yeah, the denominator is same, but whereas the numerator a, in a triangle a plus b plus c is 180, so you just write that a as 180 minus of b plus c. And what is cos of 180 minus of b plus c? 180 minus comes under second quadrant, cos is negative. Cos of 180 minus of b plus c is simply minus cos of b plus c divided by cos b cos c is equals to 2. And further we need to simplify. We need to use cos of b plus c formula. What is cos of b plus c? Okay, so for the space concern, I am just erasing the diagram. You just look there, the diagram. Okay, so the situation starts at, if this is parallel to the side BC, I am erasing it for the space concern. Okay, and then I will solve. Just look there. You send this minus sign to the right side. Cos of b plus c. So cos of b plus c is what? Cos of b plus c is cos b cos c minus sin b sin c divided by cos b cos c is equals to minus 2. If you send that minus that side, minus 2. And that implies cos b cos c by cos b cos c is 1 minus sin b sin c by cos b cos c is tan b tan c. And that is equals to minus 2. And then send that minus to this side, tan b tan c that side. That implies tan b tan c is equals to 1 plus 2, and which is equals to 3. So at the end we have that tan b into tan c is equals to 3. So that's we need to memorize. Just look once. The line joining orthocenter and circumcenter is parallel to side BC. Once again I am repeating you. If it is parallel to side BC, then tan b into tan c is 3. Whereas if it is parallel to side CA, then you will get tan c into tan A is 3. And if it is parallel to side AB, then you will get tan A into tan B is equals to 3. Okay, and if the line joining these two is parallel to side BC, it is very clear that the distances from orthocenter and circumcenter to the side BC are same. So distance from orthocenter to the side BC and distance from circumcenter to the side BC are same. So here we need to equalize those distances. Just as we mentioned in 41st point, distance from orthocenter to the side BC is 2r cos b cos c, and distance from circumcenter to the side BC is r cos a. So if you equalize it on simplification, you will get it at the end tan b tan c as 3. So to solve this problem completely, to analyze in this way, you need to know the distances from orthocenter to the side as well as the distance from circumcenter to the side. And that's why it is very important to memorize all the distances what we discussed in 41st point. Okay, just have a look. This is one problem which we solve using those distances. Okay, and I have one more problem related to this. If the line joining incenter and circumcenter is parallel to side BC, then the same situation here. Now the line joining incenter and circumcenter is parallel to side BC. So as per the discussion, as we discussed in the previous case, distance from, since the line joining is parallel to side BC. So okay, again if you look at the situation, okay, if this is the triangle, so here if you have circumcenter, somewhere here you will get incenter, okay, and the line joining this incenter and circumcenter is parallel to side BC. Then in this case again what will happen? The distance from incenter to the side BC and the distance from circumcenter to the side BC, these two are equal. And we need to concentrate on those distances, okay, that's it. So what will happen at the end? Distance from incenter to BC is equals to distance from circumcenter to BC, that is equals to distance from incenter to the side. Already we mentioned that incenter is such a point which is equidistant from all the sides, and that equal distance is the in radius. So distance from incenter to the side BC is small r, whereas distance from circumcenter to the side BC, circumcenter to the side, just as we discussed, which is r cos a. So small r is equals to r cos a. Since small r is equals to r cos A, at the end we have that cos A is equals to small r by capital R. Okay, small r is equals to cos A is equal to small r by capital R. So then what you say about that? Small r is equals cos A is equal to small r by capital R. This is one idea, and further we need to simplify, and for that just I am adding 1 on both sides. Why I am adding 1? Just have a look at this. 1 plus cos A is equals to 1 plus small r by capital R, and that implies 1 plus cos A is equals to, this is 1 plus small r by capital R. As I mentioned you in previous points, this 1 plus small r by capital R is simply nothing but cos A plus cos B plus cos C. Already we proved it, okay? Cos A plus cos B plus cos C is simply 1 plus small r by capital R. So 1 plus cos A is equals to cos A plus cos B plus cos C. If you cancel out that cos A, you will get that cos B plus cos C is equals to 1. That's the ultimate idea. If line joining incenter and circumcenter is parallel to side BC, again depending on B and C, cos B plus cos C is equals to 1. If that line joining incenter and circumcenter is parallel to side CA, then we say that cos C plus cos A is equals to 1. If it is parallel to AB, then you say that cos A plus cos B is equals to 1. So then to get this cos B plus cos C as 1, here we are using this 1 plus small r by capital R as cos A plus cos B plus cos C, which we already proved in some other point. Okay, just have a look.